I want to welcome you to another edition of Halftime Chat Live and another special guest, Mr. Tim Kelley, producer, songwriter. How have you been, Tim?
You know what, man? I'm a lot better, man. I must say I am, man, because and you know what? I think it was from the first one, because what was the first one? Like 3 hours?
Yes, it was about 3 hours. It started at
Man, that's
12
the
midnight.
longest I talked since I had the situation happen to me. So it really got me to really look at it and be like, dang, man, you gotta up your talking, man. So I'm a lot better now, man, and I'm a lot sharper, man, and I'm really on it now. So anything
Yeah.
you ask me, man, it's gonna be really cut clear, and I'm gonna make sure I tell it like it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but
I was a little foggy too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But that went away. That went away, and I'm really able to tell my truth, man, on what happened, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, how is because for those who might not be aware and who are just joining in, Tim suffered two strokes, which affected, is it your left side, your arm and leg?
Yeah, what happened, man, is you know what, man? Let me just go ahead and get it out because I really want to help. I want to start helping people out with this, man. We as black people, man, we don't get checked out. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because if we do notice stuff, we'd be like, I'll put it in the back burner. I'll deal with it later because I don't even want to hear nothing bad news. Not even knowing that bad news is good news. You know what I'm saying? Because they can actually prevent it.
Yeah.
My dumb butt didn't go to the hospital, and
Wow.
then I ended up with two strokes. And now, we trying to fix everything. We're catching up with ourselves as opposed to being in front of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess that's the thing about even men. There is there's hesitance to go to see a doctor and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, but as I said, prevention is always better than cure, as one would say. But yeah, it's important. I mean, people would say, "Take it to Jesus," but he
Exactly.
says,
And they
"Physician, heal
like,
yourself." So there is that importance, for us as a community.
but I go with Jesus. He's like, hey man, you got to help yourself out, and then I'll do the rest. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
yeah,
you can't just sit there and be like, oh, I'll let Jesus. I'll just leave it to Jesus. You know what I mean?
yeah. So
Like, man, that ain't how it works.
yeah,
Gonna have to get up and go get checked out. And if they tell you something, you know what I mean? Hopefully they can fix it right there, or they can get ahead of the situation and fix it. See, with me, man, I was like, I knew something was going on because I'm a late night owl, right? So I would be peeing a lot, man, at night. You know what I mean? And just little weird stuff, man. And I knew something wasn't right, but I never did go. I didn't go to the doctor, man.
wow.
Well, you know what? Here we go. I had two strokes and on and on and on, man. So I would say to everybody, man, go get checked, man. It's gonna save your life.
Mm,
If I could, you know what? If I could help one, two people, man, I'm good. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Because I wish somebody would have been on me like this, man, to be like, hey, get off your butt and go get checked out.
yeah,
Because you just don't know, man. You don't know what's lingering, man. You
yeah.
can't, because, stuff like this is from the inside. So you don't know. You looking on the outside and you saying, oh, I'm fine, man. There's
Mm,
nothing wrong. And not even knowing that something might be wrong on the inside. You
yeah,
can't see that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. But
for everybody out there that's watching, man, make sure you get checked out, man, so you can prevent, man, anything that's going on.
so are you still doing physio for your hand movement and walking?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot better, man. I can walk. Matter of fact, I walked over here because I was on the couch over there, but then I walked over here to my studio, so I can actually walk.
Okay.
Then I can move my arm a little better. So I ain't gonna put no time limit on it, but I would say in about I don't want to put an exact time limit on it. I'll just say in about like a month we'll see where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'm doing a lot better, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's good that you are going through the process, and hopefully people start to learn um, about the importance of not leaving it too late and getting checked out and stuff. Um,
Right.
so on the face of things, though, I okay, we got a comment here. From ATL 808. He says, I live in Atlanta, ATL, and I remember when you all were at Dob Studios with Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was fun, man. I remember we came. You know what's so crazy? I remember us driving into town. I didn't tell you about this part, but I remember driving into town. It was New Year's Eve of '93. So we was going down Peachtree, right? So Peachtree is a really big it's a really big street. It runs all the way through Atlanta. So we saw everybody celebrating and all that. It was like, you know what? We ain't here to celebrate, man. We gotta find Dallas, man. Wherever he hanging out, wherever he at. And I know he probably was somewhere in a club having fun. I don't know. Who knows, man? But I was like, man, that was all that was on my mind, man. I couldn't celebrate, man. You know what I'm saying? We could have easily pulled over and watched the fireworks and
Mm.
got to know people, but nah, we wasn't there for that, man. We was trying to make it.
A lot of people are closed down a lot of studios um, because of just the expense, and people are recording at home. But Dallas still seems to have top studios. It is it that he just gets, and he doesn't seem to be doing producing. So is it that he's still getting production work? That's the reason why the studios are still functioning.
You know what, man? Believe it or not, man, Dallas don't have DARP anymore.
Oh, he doesn't.
Nope, you don't have it anymore.
Oh,
But I guess he working from his house, and he's still doing endeavors. Like he got the marketing promotion and all that. Like I think he got a company that if you bring your product to him, he'll
yeah.
do the marketing and promotion for you. You know what I mean? So he went into that now, as well as he's still producing. So he's doing pretty good for himself, man.
So for yourself, being on the West Coast, if you need to, if you need to record, where do you go? What studio do you use? Hit
Oh man,
Batteries or what?
it's so many studios, man. But I usually use Encore. Encore. Let me see, Larrabee West. Let me see what else I used. It's a gang of them out here, man. Will Smith old studios right down the street from me. Um, so them the basic 4 or 5 that I use because I know them really well. The sound, you know what I mean, they're tuned really well. You know what I mean? So I don't have to second guess myself when I hear my sound. I already know that them studios work for me. But there's a lot of them out here, though, man. This is California, man. So you
But in this,
talking, man,
yeah, but
80
this,
studios you can go to, man. It's crazy. It's a lot of studios out here.
but in
And my boy, shout out to Prince. He just opened one on Ventura, so I'm gonna check that out too when he get back out here. He's gonna be out here in like another week or two. And
who's
I'm gonna
this?
check that out and see what it really sounds like.
You said Prince.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think I'm talking about Prince, but no, it's a whole nother dude. His name is Prince, man.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that we were talking about the purple one. I was like,
Nah,
okay, yeah.
you know what? Nah, that dude, man, is one of the baddest dudes that walked this earth, man. His birthday was a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, I saw people celebrating it. Yeah.
Man,
Um,
you gotta know you a bad dude, man. He died what? Let me see. Maybe like 13 years ago, something like that.
yeah,
13,
yeah,
15 years ago, and they still celebrate his birthday like 3, 4 days. And I'm still seeing stuff about him, man. That's how bad he was, man. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
But they do the same with Michael. They do the
Yeah,
same with Michael. Um,
absolutely.
so ATL 808 was saying, can you talk about Rick, Ran, and Dan, and how Randy Ran got discovered by Flight Time? and how he started working with Dallas. Do you know them?
Yeah. My good friend from Detroit named Paul Hill. He used to sing backgrounds with George Clinton. So what happened was when they was doing the album, that's when that tragic accident happened, man. That Randy ran, he had a head-on motorcycle accident, man, with a semi. Got decapitated. Matter of fact, they had to have a
Wow.
closed casket, man.
Wow.
So Paul was telling us this, but then he was like, at the same time, he was like, "Hey, man, Dallas is down, man, and he got all these projects because he had them all lined up for him and Randy, because him and Randy was going to be a duo like me and Bob were." So he was like, "Man, you guys should get down there and check it out." So I was like, "All right, you know what? We got bald tires, man. We got a little bit of money, but I'm gonna just take a leap on faith, man, and just get out there and see what happens, man. And rest is history, man. You know what I'm saying?"
Wow. Yes. I mean, I guess it's you know, it's. I think the one thing that Bob mentioned, which was really which was surprising, is about Dallas saying, "Okay, guys, write down everything that you owe."
You know what, man? You know what's crazy is I think Bob got that mixed up a little bit. I think if I say this, he'll remember. But it was the business, it was the business rep for Dallas. So his name, if I can remember, man, let me see. I forgot his name, but he was the business manager for everything. He's the one, he started business managing us, right?
Mm.
So he's the one that told us to write everything down, not Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Bob
Okay.
probably will remember when he hear me say this, it's gonna click to him, man. It wasn't Dallas, it was him. I don't know if Dallas told him. His name was Willie. So
Okay.
he had everybody in Atlanta, man. He had Silk, LA, Pebbles. I mean, Dallas, he had everybody, man. But when he found us, when Dallas told us to go up there to talk to him, right? So he was the one who was like, "Hey, man, you know what? I want you guys, I don't want you to be stressed out, man. I want you guys to be open-minded and creative to do whatever you do, man." He was like, "Write all your bills down." So I was like, "Man, you got to be kidding, man." He was like, "No, I'm not kidding, man." He's like, "Just write all your stuff down. I'm gonna take it all out." Of course, you know, he got it back from when we started when we started doing some projects. He got the money back, but he's the one that initially paid for everything, man. His name is Willie Carter. Is his name.
Okay. Okay.
He the one that told us to write everything down. So I
Okay.
don't know if Dallas told him to do it. I don't know how that transpired, but he the one that said that, man. So they helped us out a lot, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if anybody know him or if he watching, man, I want to say thank you, man, because you know that really helped us. Cause you know how it is, man. When you got bills on your mind, you got this
Mm.
on your mind, you can't get really creative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with him, he wanted to get rid of all that so we can be really creative and open-minded when we go in there and start doing our tracks. So he really helped us out, man. I want to give it up to him, man.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I guess that makes sense because when you okay, let me Kurt
Yeah,
has a
his name was
question.
Willie Carter, man. Real good dude. And you know what? He from out here. He here somewhere. He in California.
It'll be a
I like
small
to look
world.
him up, man, and maybe have some dinner with him or something like that, man, because he's a big, you know what? He's a big piece that we never mentioned, man, we never said anything about him, man. And he's a big piece. Put it this way, man. When we got our first condo, it was because of him. Our our first house was from him.
Hmm.
Mind you, man, our credit was goofed up, man. We didn't have no our credit was shot, man. All of a sudden, man, we go over there, he'd be like, "Hey, man, you know what? I got y'all a house, man." I'm like, "For real, you did?" So he got us our first house, our second house, and then we was able to get our third house on our own because, you know, obviously we started doing more work. So
Hmm.
yeah, man.
Okay.
So
That's.
I don't know if you know Willie and Dallas orchestrated that or
Mm.
Willie by himself, but you know, man, whoever did it, man.
It made a massive difference.
Whoever did it, man, saved our life, man. You know what I'm saying?
Kurt
I
asked,
ain't gonna-
it said, asked him what new school R&B artists, so like people who are out now, if you had the opportunity to work with.
I love Fantasia. I
Oh,
love
well, Fantasia's not really new school, so this I'm talking about like I guess any of the people that have been out for the last 5 years or so. I guess.
like last 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Lucky Day been out for like Lucky Day
Yeah,
the new
maybe
one,
he'll
right?
sneak into that. Yeah.
So Lucky Day, let me see. Her, have she been out?
Yeah.
She's
But I
dope.
think she's new. Yeah.
Yeah, she's new. So her, let me see who else. If I could think of some, man. Um, you know what, man? Them two come to mind, but I got like 3 or 4 more. I just can't remember the name, but I think I could really help a lot of people out, man. Because you know what it is? A lot of the new artists is they're skipping steps, man, that will make them like in another 10 years, you'll know who they are. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to skip no steps, man. You want to do it right, man. This is one world that you can't cheat. You can't cheat the business, man, because it'll eat you up, man. You'll get a hit. You'll get a hit one day. All of a sudden, you'll do another one. They don't even care about you, man. So you'll be like, dang, what did I do wrong, man? You know what I mean? It's because you skip steps, man. It's protocol and steps the way you do this thing, man. It's like you have to go through those steps, man, in order to be, yeah, he's good. When older people and the gatekeepers of this music industry, when they say he's good, that goes a long way, man.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I would say, you can't skip no steps, man. You got to do what you got to do. Like you got to. One thing that's missing is artist development, because what happens is that the music industry, the music labels rather, is when they hear something, they like, oh my God, he got a hit. They just skip all over artist development. Artist development help you out when you go on tour, you do a video, you know what I'm saying? All that. So people kind of know who you are and they kind of stamp you a little bit. That's all out the door right now, man. And then because it was like, almost $1 million sometimes to artists develop artists, but
Yeah.
that's going out the door, man. You know what I mean? Artist development now, man, is TikTok and YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, I mean I think that's why there's a lot more investment in hip hop, because it doesn't cost as much to develop them, because they have a stage they have a they just get the mic, they can use backing tracks and just a few
Right.
friends on stage. They don't need to learn the choreography. They don't have to teach them all this interview skills. They can. It's cheaper to just run hit, and they sell a lot more records than R&B,
but
which
you know
was
what? With artist development, man, when R&B artists, it teaches you how to hold the mic when you're dancing, man. What do you need to be doing? Where the mic need to be at? You don't need it all right here, so it's high in your face. Just little bitty things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That artist development does with R&B artists, man. That's just gone out the window, man. That's why a lot of artists will get a hit record, and then they'll do the next one, and then all of a sudden, it don't work for them, man. So you can't cheat the process, man. You got to go through. You got to go through everything, man. Learn it all, man. You know what I'm saying? So you can make sure that you can go 5 or 6 albums deep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, they named some of the female artists not female artists, some of the newer artists, like Scissor.
I love her.
Victoria Monet, Brent
she's good
Ferrer,
too.
Money
Matter of
Long.
fact, you know what? Speaking of LMA, I got what let me see. Right before my stroke, it was like maybe like 2-3 months, man. Me and me and Mustard got in the studio because that's actually DJ Mustard's artist. So we got in the studio and I started working for her. I don't know if any of them going to stick or not. I don't know if she doing her album, but we was working for her.
Okay.
So hopefully some of those make it, because them was some dope songs, man.
Wow.
He did the beat and I did the music. So because I was in the next room working on somebody else, and then when he found out, he was like, "Can I come in there?" So we started talking. He was like, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of yours, man." I'm like, "You are?" He's like, "Dude." He started naming everything I did, man. I was like, "You know what? I'm really surprised, man." He was like, "Hey man, you know what? How about if I do some beats, man? Or I got some beats, in my computer. How about you put some music on top of the beats?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "Have somebody bring my guitar in, my bass, and all that stuff in. Let's get going." So we did that for like 2 days, man.
Oh.
So he got the records, man. Hopefully they land on somebody though. Because he didn't give me the records, man. You know what I'm saying? So he just kept them in his computer. So we'll see what happens.
But LMA did not sing. You didn't sing on them.
No, I didn't see it. Nah.
Okay.
I don't know what
I
happened.
mean, when you think about it, what's his name? Kyle West. He produced the "Where You Want to Be" for Donnell, but he came up with the music. And then it just they couldn't get the thing set up, so he left the music with Donnell. 8 months later, it comes out as "Where You Want to Be." So they take the music, they write to it, and produce it. But Carl is still listed as a producer because he came up with the music, but he wasn't there recording it, and he wasn't there when it finished. So the same type of things where you've come up with the music, and it may be stuff that they record, and then all of a sudden you start getting the credits for it. Have you ever worked with SWV?
I work with Coko.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I did half her album, man, but then something happened where she got dropped, and then she got another deal, and then Rodney did her album,
The Sunshine.
like Sunshine was the first single, but
Yeah.
before that, Bob and I, we did like 5 or 6, and her manager was somebody from LaFace. That's why we knew her really well. So she was like, "Y'all want to work on Coko?" We was like, "What happened with SWV?" She was like, "Nah, she's gonna go solo right now." I'm like, "Hey, she's so dope, man. It don't even matter." I'm like, "Bring her in." You know what I mean? So yeah, I worked with her, but I didn't work on SWV.
Oh goodness. And so
Yeah.
did any of those songs make it out?
Nope. I got them right now, man. I
Wow.
got about 3 or 4 up in my computer, man.
Wow.
I mixed them and everything, man. But I think like I said, she didn't like the way her deal was set up, and so she wanted to get out the deal, so she walked away and got another deal, and then that's when Rodney came in and did the Sunshine and some other joints he did.
And Brian Alexander Morgan came in as well. So then, but who owns the music then? The ones that you recorded with her?
I do. We do. Me and Bob.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if Bob got him. I got him.
Okay.
But yeah, but nobody really owns the masters but us, man. You know what I mean? Because
Did you get paid for the sessions by the label, or
got paid for the sessions. So, we got paid for the session. So that was just for our time right there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So but the actual recordings, man, I don't have the tapes, but I got them on tape.
Okay.
But I don't have, that was back before Pro Tools came out. I got the reels. I had the reels. I just got to probably go look for them, man. But yeah, man.
Wow. Next time it'd be great to be able to hear that, and so people could see.
Man, she sung her face off too, man. She is so, man, when I tell you she is so good in the studio, man. And she used to have a little attitude, man, because she coming off of Brian, old boy that was doing a album, and she always tell us like, you know what? He used to make us sing it just like the demo. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not that type of producer. Like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write it, but you make it come alive. You do what you do, and I'll tell you if you do it too much, not enough, or whatever. I was like, but I want to let you loose. But who was the guy that did the first
Brian
album?
Alexander Morgan.
Yeah. She was like, man, he used to make us do it just like exactly like the demos, man. I'm like, you know what? A lot of producers do that, man. I'm not knocking them for that, man. But I'm like, because they pour their heart and soul into the demos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but luckily, Bob and I, we're not really singers.
yeah.
So
But Brian is a singer, so he would sing
yeah,
the
singer.
riffs
So
and everything. So he'd want them to just emulate, because he wrote the song and
exactly.
he knew how he thought it should sound.
And he dope too, man. I got to give it up to him, man.
Yeah,
He really dope, man. So however he do it, I don't know how he do it, man. It comes out crazy.
yeah.
You know what I mean? All producers just got these secrets on how they do things to make the artists, to make the artists come out across the best they can, man. I just ride up and let the artist go in there, and then I'm like, I got little ways of bringing it out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Alex,
That I don't want to give the secrets away because I'm still producing.
Yeah,
I'm
Alex,
still producing. I'm still doing my thing.
Alex, actually, do you work with? Is it Carrie Shed? No.
Yeah, I worked on her on the Second Chance album. Actually, her daughter did the demos, and then we showed Sylvia Rome, and Sylvia Rome signed her from the demos, man.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how she got signed. She got signed from the demos. Cause Karen, when Karen came off the piano, off the airplane, I'm sorry, she was really, really hoarse the first 2 days, so she couldn't even sing the first 2 days. So she had her daughter do all the demos and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And she killed them, man.
Wow.
I mean, man, I didn't even know she had a daughter that can really, really sing like that, man. That was bugging me out too. I heard when she got in the booth, man, I was like, how is she this young singing like this? But I'm like, you know what? We've been through it before with Beyonce. We've been through it before with Monica. Like, it's just some that just learn in church, or like, they got a relative that can really sing or whatever, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it was with her. It's like if your mama Karen, if your mama is Karen, you better know how to sing.
It's a lot of pressure there, though. It's a lot of pressure there. Um, um, Aisha the Great said, "Does Tim have any thoughts on producers?" So a lot of producers are selling sort of their catalog to a lot of big firms.
Right.
Have you guys ever thought about that, or is it something that you guys want to keep hold of your catalogs?
You know what? That's a twofold question right there, because I'll say this, and I got this from a lot of my peers and people that I talk to. A lot of people sold their catalog, man. Because the reason why is because if you're young when you sell your catalog, if you're still producing, you can make another catalog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're a little older and you're not going to produce anymore, then if you want to get a big check, they sell it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but if you're still active and you're still producing, go ahead and sell it, man. Because if you're doing another catalog, you got another catalog coming. You know what I mean? And if you got a catalog that if it's been squeezed out already, man, it's not gonna be that much money left in there anyway. So you already done took it all. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example, like I don't know, TLC, right?
Yeah.
So we did TLC, man, when we was like I don't know, like 1993. So there's really not that much publishing left in that, man. But if they still want to get it, you got to look at it like they ain't gonna get that much, but times 10, times 20, times 30 with a multiple, it's gonna be a lot of money. So you take that and run with it, man. It's just like big companies. If you're a little fish in a big pond, and the big companies want to come and give you a check, take it, because you're not gonna make that much money anyway.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that, man. It's like really weird, man. You know what I mean? It's like it all depends on if you're still active or not. You know what I mean? To me, that's what it is. Like if you're still active, you know what I mean? When you're selling your catalog, you get a multiple of like 20 or 30. So you got to think in your mind, like put that number in your mind and like, wow, that's such and such. I'm not gonna make that anyway. So what I'll do is I'll give my kids the money earlier, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to waiting for like another 10 or 12 years when the money is not worth that much. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Your catalog is not worth that much.
Yeah.
So that's a double edged. That's but you know what? To each his own, man.
Yeah,
I
but I
mean,
would
I
have.
think more like that because I
Yeah.
sold a piece of my catalog because I'm still working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still working. It's gonna start all the way over, and I'm able to do whatever I want to do with the next part of the catalog. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Ezekiel has asked, can you ask Tim when he and Bob produce an artist, who does what in terms of instrumentation, and music? I mean, I guess it's, when you have a production duo. I remember hearing Jimmy and Terry talk about how Terry predominantly does the lyrics and the bass, and Jimmy pretty much would structure with with keyboards and be able to do
Yeah.
a lot of that. How did it work when it was to you guys? How did you attack a track?
Um, at the clear beginning, me and Bob was doing it all, man. But then it started. Our music started getting like kind of sample heavy. So I always had a whole bunch of albums. Like I think I told in one of the things I said before, I had albums and singles and stuff because I always collected albums and I had so many albums, man, that I just found that when I found a sample, I just would put the beat on there and that would be the basis of the record. And
Mm.
then I would take it to the studio and then I'll let Bob listen to it and Bob would be like, hey, that's dope, man. And then he would add a little something to it after that. So I would say that I would start the foundation and then Bob would jump on the organ or piano or whatever, guitar, whatever, and put his stuff on it. And then how we did it usually, if I had the melody already, I would tell him the melody, and then he would kind of be like, you know what? How about it go like this? And every single time, I don't know why, man, Bob had a better melody than me, man. So he would always come up with the first melody, and then that would make me come up with the hook. If I didn't have the hook already, I would come up with the hook, the second verse, and then we would get together on the bridge. Or he'd be like, "Oh, you got it. Go ahead." You know what I'm saying? So we kind of, we always piggyback back and forth on the records, man. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like one person doing everything, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
all the time.
and I guess people would wonder, um, what's the difference when you do a production like a LA Babyface, a Tim and Bob,
I will say,
Jimmy and
you know
Terry.
what? I will say this. If it wasn't, if we didn't put a sample in there, we both just did it all. We did it all the way down, man. We love the records to breathe, man. So what we would do is play all the way down on the track, man. We
Mm.
didn't sequence nothing. We would play all the way down, and then we knew that when they would climax, you gotta play a little louder or do a little something different on the organ, on the piano, on the guitar. That's why the music kind of climaxed when we did that, man. You know what I'm saying? So like on slow songs and mids that didn't have a sample in it, we would do that a lot. But a lot of the songs like Slow Down, Tell Me for Bobby V,
Mm.
that was more sample kind of driven, you know what I mean? So we would get together and be like, I don't think that need a guitar. Uh I think that do need a guitar right here. Um let's leave it alone, man, because you found a sample that got everything in it. It's already carrying a record. So we would get together and do that. You know what I'm saying? So it was a collective effort, man.
Um, what happened with your relationship with Bobby V? Because you do the first album, and then we get to see him go reaching out to Timberland and others, like doing anonymous and stuff, and you do some tracks, but you weren't as heavily involved.
He's still like my little brother, man. And just I think that, you know, it wasn't him. You know what? It wasn't him that reached out to Rodney and Timberland and all that stuff. It was the labels throwing that in his ear, man, because now when the first album did so well, they got all in his ear. Why don't you try this person? Why don't you try that person? Not even knowing that I'm the one, me and Bob, we the one that had the antidote. I knew him best because he was living with me. You know what I mean? So I knew exactly what he's thinking about, man. Every day we had long conversations, man, all the way to the night. So I really, really, really got to know him like my brother, man.
Yeah.
So you know, it was one of them things where since the first album did so well, the label started getting in his ear. And I'm not naming names. I'm just saying, like, why don't you get it? Why don't you try this person? Why don't you try that person? You know what I mean? That's why I didn't sound like him, because it was like, it was records where anybody can do them. But Slow Down and Tell Me is just too, to me, and My Angel. Them is just three songs that just can't be duplicated, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
They
have
can't
heard
be.
him. Yeah, I have heard him in an interview say that one of the mistakes he ever did was to start to search for the sound, because it meant that he didn't get his signature song sound, because he
Yeah.
now was chasing popular sounds by producers who were already doing popular things. So then it's like, if you got a track from the Neptunes, you
Yeah, you know what? If you the piggyback off what you're saying, man, it's like if you go to the Neptunes, if you go to Rodney, if you go to Timberland, I mean, you go to get a hit because they're hit makers. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But it's like you need a sound, man. Slow Down and Tell Me, and My Angel gave you a signature sound.
yeah,
So every time them records come on, they ain't even got to see you, man. They already know, like, oh, that's Bobby V right there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
We carved a lane for him that he was good to go, man. He right now to this day, man, he can go tour on them records, man, for the
yeah.
rest of he good to go. I
But
make sure I got him at least 3 or 4 of them that he can just be out of here. You mean?
yeah,
But
but when
those records that Timberland
Rodney,
and Rodney did, it seemed like they could have went on anybody, man. You know what I mean? They didn't really fit what we did, but they was hit records. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but there was just records that could have been on any other artist, man. You know what I'm saying?
How did that affect your relationship when that happened? When it's like the label's not pushing out your stuff, and you're not getting as much on the album as you had.
I didn't. You know what? I didn't take it serious because you know what? Um, Before it happened to us so much that I was already ready for that. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? They're gonna come back to us, man. They're gonna want that sound again because we the only ones that can do that. So I already knew that. I'm like, hey, they want you. Oh, they want you to go to Timberland. Oh, they want you to go to whoever. I'm like, okay. I wasn't really tripping, man, because I knew at the end of the day, if he wanted to slow down or Tell Me or My Angel, all them type of records like that, he would have to come back to us, man, because just like Timberland, man, we can recreate something like Timberland, but it ain't gonna sound like Timberland. You
Yeah,
like Timberland. You get what I'm saying? We can duplicate them because we musicians, but it ain't gonna sound all the way like him. You
yeah,
get what I'm saying? It's only gonna be like maybe 80 or 90. But
yeah,
we can recreate it because we know what key that he did the songs in. I know what some of the drums that he used, but it wasn't gonna sound like him all the way. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So nah, in that sense, man, you got if you want that sound, you gotta go. Like if you wanted the back then, if you want the Neptune sound, go to the Neptunes, man.
yeah,
I, I'm not, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't mad at that, man.
yeah.
Cause I'm like, you know, I could do it, but I can't do it like them. They
Another
had their
question.
own.
Yeah, another question. Did you ever consider releasing your own album like how Quincy Jones did? Even Jimmy and Terry just released during the pandemic, released their own volume album and they had people featured on it?
Yeah, man, that's a good question, man. Soon as I get a little bit better, man, I'm gonna go ahead and shop a deal for that. Cause I got a lot of existing songs. I got some songs I can clean up, and I got a lot of songs that that I'm doing on artists that, you know, maybe if some left over that, yeah, I've been really thinking about that, man. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you do a compilation now, man? You ain't never did that before, man. That's one thing I never did. You know what I mean? So, no, I want to do that, man.
Yeah.
So
So
when
I
I get
guess.
a little better and I'm able to walk in there, man, like, and I could jump on a desk like I used to,
But if you
but
think
I could
about it,
jump on the desk and be like, hey, you need it, da, 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 da. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So when
but
I get a little better and I can do all that, man, yes, I will, man. I want to do a compilation now.
but thinking about it though, there is a large vault of songs that Tim and Bob wrote and produced that were recorded by established artists that didn't make the album or got dropped, that you guys still have. I mean,
Yeah, a
releasing
lot.
that commercially. So I know you know you've been playing some of them online, but actually going to getting a business lawyer to say, okay, can you shop around? We've got Tim and Bob Volume One, and featuring all these big artists, and they, you know, the lawyer gets all the clearance and stuff like that, make sure there's no anything in there, and then that gets released because you know it's you know because that's from the vaults of Tim and Bob, because actually those you know instead you know you can play them around now, but it's sitting in a cupboard gaining dust and nothing's happening with it. But if you get it released, you may get a label that's ready to put down some cash to release it. Even some of these private equity companies are like, okay, we can invest in that.
Right. Um, yeah, like I said, man, that would be the hardest part probably is getting everybody to sign off. Like Mary's doing her album right now. Beyonce just coming off she's just coming off the album that she came off that's really successful. I got a lot of records on both of them. Bobby just came out with something and then he's trying to come out with another album. I got about like 3 or 4 albums on Bobby. Donnie Jones, he's working with the group with Jon B. Um, I got a lot of stuff, man. You know what I mean? The problem would be, man, them signing off on it, man. You know what I mean? That'll be probably the hardest part. Cause,
Mm.
you know, I'm ready to go. I got the songs ready to go, man. When I tell you I got them ready to go, probably got to EQ them a little bit and add some bass, change some kicks, change some snares. But for the most part, I'm ready, man. It's
Yeah.
just getting the signatures. That's gonna be the hardest part.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I mean and that's stuff that somebody else can go around and do. Um,
Right.
yeah, that would be still no, that would be somebody else that like yeah, invested. But you know, money talks. If somebody offers somebody that here's this X amount of dollars to get you signed off on this and
You got
relinquish the
that
right,
right.
the people sign off with it in a heartbeat. So yeah,
Absolutely, man. Once you
it
start talking some money, so at first you'll be like, "Hey, man, I'm doing a compilation, man. I want to da da da." They'll be like, okay, all right." But then when you be like, "Hey, man, I can give you this and this and this and that, man. Matter of fact, I can give it to you in a couple of days." Like, what? Let's go.
but then what
That
happens
money
when?
really talks, man. Like you said.
But have you reached out to Mary if she's doing an album and say, "Hey, Mary, you're doing an album, but we can re-record some of these tracks that we did." You know, and you know,
No, I haven't reached out to her. No, I haven't. Cause you know what, man? I've been doing a lot because obviously I got a lot of time in my hands to really think, and I'm like, should I do it or should I just leave these songs alone? But I'm like, there's some really good material that I have that the world needs to hear. So I'm like, I need to put these out, man. So yeah, I need to reach out to the artist, man, and but first I got to get the deal first, so I can, you know, so I can let them know that there's some money involved, man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So when we start talking money, man, like the signatures start coming real quick
yeah. I
instead of
mean,
slow like that.
Yeah, I guess it's connecting with somebody who's on the business side who can connect the dots, because that's definitely those are vintage things. Um, I mean, I guess when you think about producing as Tim and Bob, but to now producing as Tim, what do you think people might? I mean, there will be a difference, because I know when LA and Babyface were together, LA had we could always hear his drums. You could tell the structure and the funk that he brought to it. And Babyface, with the writing, with Daryl Simmons as well, and so the melody. So you could see. So when LA left, Face didn't really do a lot of those dance and tracks and stuff like that. He did a lot more ballads and more mid tempo. So you could tell the sound was a lot different than with LA. When
Yeah,
you
I hear what
and Bob
you're saying.
decided to separate as producers, how
I
does
get
that
what you're
then
saying.
affect the sound of what you guys used to do so well together?
Yeah, there's two things about that. Okay, number one, we're a lot different than LA and Babyface because um, when they split, even though they split, Babyface he still can write, and now he can. He's got different drums now. Cause you know what? It was a lot different. You had to make all your sounds back then, man. Now, man, everybody make them in packs and all that. But even though I still make my own sounds, I did a lot of the drum programming back then. So um, even though Bob ventured off and wanted to do something different, I still got the same backbone of what I did is the beat. Because at the end of the day, man, let's keep it real, man. What do you listen to first in the song? Is it the beat or the lyrics?
Yeah, I mean,
It,
yeah,
it got
yeah,
to be the beat and the bass because at first you don't remember what the lyrics are saying, man.
yeah,
Like you got to hear it a couple times to hear the lyrics. So, but the beat and the bass line, man, that's the basis of a record, man. At the end of the day, man. No matter people can say what they want, man. Why do we like Jay Dilla so much? Do you like Jay Dilla, man, because of what he did on Slum Village and how they was rapping, or do you like the beats that he was doing? You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So it's like it's not no knock. It was just that thank God I was doing the beats, man. You know what I mean? So um matter of fact, I'm even better than I ever been, man. You'll see when I announce all the stuff that I'm doing. And not knocking Bob. I'm just saying that I just happen to be the guy that did the beats, man. So I don't think it'll be a problem when I release something, release an album because I'm the one that did the beats. You know what I mean? I got all our sounds. I got even newer ones. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure that when I polish them up, I put new drums on them and all that stuff, so it can sound like some of them. I don't know. Some of them is like timeless, and then some of them ain't. You know what I mean? Just got to fix them a little bit, but they
yeah,
ready to go.
yeah. So I mean, I guess I mean, being both at the West Coast, do you guys still? I mean, because I mean, when you hear when anyone listens to both Bob's story and your story, and the sacrifices you guys had to make, leaving the Midwest, heading down to Atlanta, I think were you getting 2 for 1 burgers or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, all the stuff, the sort of, and I think one of the things that really hit me was when Bob said that you guys used to talk about, so what are we doing in the studio today? The Boyz II Men are coming in. Okay, how many tracks? Thinking, almost visualizing success, even at your toughest times, and really being motivated about we want to succeed by all means.
yeah.
Um, during those during those times, it, it might be easy for people to fall out. How did you guys stay connected to stay, and despite all this stuff, that we're gonna be connected during the tough times, so that we can be united during the success?
I think it's because I always thought about my dad's band, man, and I always thought that they could have made it, man. All they needed to do is just get that. get to where everything is happening, either New York, California, Atlanta. Those were the three places, man, where a lot of music was made back then, like in the 80s, 70s, and the 80s. So whenever I felt down, I'm like, I'm too close though, man. We too close, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like all we gotta do is keep going, man. Like, cause our music is just as good as anybody. We just gotta find somebody that really believe in us, that got some power and can really do something about it. We didn't have that, man, until we got to Atlanta, and then Dallas, really heard it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So Dallas was the first one that heard our music that said, "Hey, yo, I want da 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 da," and he started making stuff happen. I mean, instantly. You know what I'm saying? So I got to give it up to Dallas, man, because he heard it, man.
Mm.
Not saying that we let somebody else hear our music and they didn't hear it. He heard it. It's one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to do something about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Dallas heard it, and he just started shuffling and making stuff happen, man. And before you know it, we was on like 5 and 10 projects, man, before the year, from 93 to 94.
I mean, you both had um okay. I think Ezekiel has another question. Is can you ask Tim what was his and Bob's most challenging project in terms of the production?
Uh, it wasn't a challenge. It wasn't no challenge, man. You want me to tell you why? The reason why it
Oh no,
wasn't
which
really
one
a
though?
challenge.
Which project? Because what he's asking for is like which project you were gone on. So maybe producing an artist, and but which was the most challenging? But it came, even though it came out.
You know what, man? The most challenging one probably was Bobby Brown, but
The
even that
for
wasn't that challenging. It was just like just getting him in the studio at that time, because
yeah,
he was distracted because he was doing New Edition,
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
doing his album, he was on tour and all that. So
right,
that's what made that kind of challenging, man. So that's why we had to go to so many different cities, man. We
yeah.
was in Atlanta, we was in Los Angeles, we was in let me see. Uh Boston. You know what? Another one, Boys and Men too. We did that in like so many cities. It's unbelievable because they was on tour.
Oh,
So everywhere they went, we had to go. Orlando, Vegas, um, let me see, Los Angeles, New York, Philly. You know what I mean? Like they wasn't challenging as far as the music is because um, what me and Bob really prided ourselves on is that we could play anything, man. It didn't matter what key it was in. So if they say, hey, if they just walked in one day and it's like, hey man, you know what? Check this out, man. They just start singing a cappella. We'd be like, oh, they're in D flat. So we already knew from being musicians, we knew what key that they were singing in. And by the way, they got perfect pitch, man. Them dudes is crazy.
so
So you
it.
can be like, oh, they're in E flat, they're in A flat, they're in D flat. So it's easy to kind of see what they was doing. We just had to figure out, you know, what worked best for the record. So that wasn't a challenge doing a record. It was keeping up with them, the different cities that we had to go to, man. But otherwise than that, nah, man. We checked our ego at the door, man. We was like, if we check our ego at the door, man, y'all have to too, man, so we can make the best record we can. At the end of the day, it ain't about like me coming up with the best thing, Bob coming up with the best thing. Whoever come up with the best wins. Yeah, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying?
Mm, I mean, if you think about the making of the two album, um, because when I look and I'm looking at some of the credits here, like one of the first tracks is um, you had a Curtis Mayfield sample, but it was written by you guys, but it was also written by Boyz II Men. And hearing Nate in an interview a while back, one of the frustrations he had and they had was the fact that they were writers, but the label didn't want them to write their own tracks. But knowing how you guys work, you encourage co-writing with your artists because you feel as if it means it makes a massive difference. Um, But it's unfortunate that Boyz II Men seem to get a bad rap because it. I think an interview Dallas had to say, yeah, man, they by the second album they had sold so much and they became big headed and difficult to work with, and that has now been the gist and stuff. But you were there on that second record. He didn't want to work with them, but you did.
You know what it was, man? The first album, man, Nate wrote most of that, right?
Yeah.
So Nate wrote most of the first album. It was some lyrics he already had, just like Devontae. Like he already had them. He already had them before Dallas came and stepped in and started doing them. So I remember Dallas telling us that Nate used to come over and pick him up, and he already used to be like, "Hey man, check this out, man." And he used to sing something, and Dallas used to put the music. He just put the music to what they had already. So all of my writers on their own right, man. Wanye can write, Sean can write, Nate can write, and then you add me and Bob, man. We can write too, man. So, like I said, man, it was one of them things where we had to be like, man, whoever got the best idea at the end of the day, we're gonna go with that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we try to impress the company, man, so they can really, really put the whole building behind you guys, man. So it ain't about like me writing everything or whoever. It's about who comes up with what best. That's it. At the end of the day, man, that's my motto, man. I just keep to that, man. Because at the end of the day, you just want to hit. Because ain't nobody gonna be really thinking about who wrote it. When they hear this, think about it. When you hear a dope song, that ain't the first thing that comes to your mind. Who wrote this? How much did they write? Did they write the whole thing? I'm saying you don't be thinking about that. You just be like, wow, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Then you start thinking about that a little later. You get what I'm saying? A little later, you start trying to figure out who wrote what. Because you yourself is a music connoisseur, so you're a little different. Like you're a little different. But like the buying consumers, man, they don't even look at the credits, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know. To this day, they don't even know who did what on a lot of records that they like.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? So it really don't matter at the end, man. It's getting a hit record out.
Yeah, I mean, there are many of us who love the music that we would go to the credits, look at to wrote. I mean, sometimes we'd see Teddy mixing a record and saying, "Man," and he only be credited for mixing and not the. But we knew that, yeah, maybe there was a Gene Griffin at the background, saying, "Oh, if you write that, I'm going to take the publishing." So he'll give his brothers as the kind of, we'll know that now this is a Teddy production as well. But when you think of the 5 tracks you did with Boyz II Men, so like with vibing, who comes up with the idea of like say vibing? Because you guys are listed as producers and writers, but Boyz II Men are listed as co-writers with you guys.
You know, it's crazy. We was all in the studio, and I think we just finished the interlude or something like that.
Or the Khalid one?
Huh?
The Khalid?
No, it was actually another interlude that didn't make it. It was crazy too, man. This interlude was so crazy, man. I think Nate got it. I'm gonna have to ask him when I talk to him. But anyway, we finished the interlude, and when they finished it, they start ordering food and all that. And so while they was ordering food, me and Bob just started messing around. And then we came up with vibing right there. So what we did, man, Nate came up with something, and then Sean had something, and then Wanye had something. And then me and Bob kind of had some ideas on the melodies and all that. So on that particular track right there, we just came up with it right on the spot, man. You know what I mean? It was one of them ones.
Michael is listed as a co-writer. Did he get involved in writing as well?
Who?
Michael McClure, Michael, the deep voice.
I think he did, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody put you know what? Because when we came up with it, everybody had melodies, man. Mike had a melody, Sean had a melody, Wanye had a melody, Nate had a melody. So if the way they wrote, man, it was really interesting, man. It was like whoever come up with something, they will find a way to make it fit. You know what I mean? and then we will make it fit fit the track and make how to make the track bounce and not make it so crowded, because we knew all the secrets of really producing, you know what I'm saying? So we all was kids and we was all trying to find our way, but it's just that me and Bob was coming from a producer's standpoint, and they was coming more so from a writer's standpoint. So we knew, like, you know what, if we want to get it on the radio, it's got to sound like this, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't no disrespect, it just got to just feel like this to get it on the radio. So they have so many ideas though, man, with the 2 albums. Man, when I tell you, man, it was like at least 2 or 3 albums made, man, from that 2 album, man. Really, it was.
Yeah, okay. Latisa says, Lot Islam said, where did you find the drum kits for the song, for Bobby B's song, Used to Be My Girl?
Oh, that was Brian McKnight. Used to Be My Girl.
Okay, yeah, Used to Be My Girl. Oh, yeah, did you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I guess where did you get the drum kits for the song?
I made it, man. I just start going through a gang of CDs. Here's some bongos right here. I'm like, okay, you know what? I can use them. Then I go to another CD and be like, oh, wait a minute, this sample right here, man. So I'll just be like, all right, let me just put that to the side. And then I go through some more albums and CDs and found the drums and all that, put it on. See, you know, back then was a lot different, man, because a lot of stuff wasn't already pre-made. Like right now, like keyboards got drums in it. You can buy sample packs, which I do sample packs, you know what I'm saying? But now there's no excuse for your music not sounding good now. But back then you had to make your own stuff up, man. So I came up with the you know, the drums by just going through a gang of CDs, man. Not necessarily made or nothing like that. I just, you know, this CD, that CD, this album, that album. And then I just sample it in the MPC. Bam, boom, bam. There you go.
Okay.
And, you know what I'm saying? But there's no excuse why you're excuse me, I was about to burp. But there's no excuse, man, for your drums and even the samples. There's no excuse right now, man, because there's so many people that come out with sample drum packs and stuff like that. So, and good drums too, you know what I mean? So you don't really have to EQ them. They already EQ them for you. They already gated and compressed. So there's really no excuse, man, these days, man. It's a lot different, man. Trust me, man.
Okay. The 50 Candles, did Sean write this by himself and you guys joined in with writing?
one day Sean, we was in Philly. I think this was like maybe the second or third day when we was in Philly. So it was a Sunday and we didn't have a session. So Sean called and was like, hey man, you know what? I got an idea, man. Do y'all feel like going to the studio? I'm like, yeah. Do I feel like going to the studio? Heck yeah. Because, you know, we was trying to get as many records on there as we could. So he came to get me. And no, I take that back. Me and Bob was in the same, we was in the same hotel. We just different rooms. He came and got us and we went to the studio, right? He was like, hey guys, man, listen to this right here. So he started singing it. Feels like one of those nights. You know what I mean? He started singing it, and then we started trying to figure out what key he was in. And then when we figured out what key he was in, I'm like, back then I was really a Jimmy and Jam nut, man. So I was like, okay, if Jimmy and Terry heard this, what would they do? You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, what would Teddy do too? And then mix with them and what I knew already, I kind of like made the drums just sound like all of us, man. So yeah, Sean came up with that whole song. He already had I guess he had the idea before he came and got it, because as soon as we came in the studio, he just started singing it, man. And we was like, dang, what's that? So he was like, I don't know, it's just something I came to mind, man. I'm like, man, y'all boys is crazy. So we just wrapped the track around what he had already. So we kind of what I can say is we kind of like steered him a little bit on the melodies when he went in the booth. But for the most part, man, 95% of it, man, he came up with the lyrics, man, and the melodies and stuff. I can't front.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
How tough was it for them to record the Khalid interlude in honor
Really,
of the manager who sadly passed away during that?
it was really tough, man. But we helped him out, man, because me and Bob was really back then. We was really wet behind the ears, go lucky dudes, and we always tried to make the room light. You know what I mean? So what I told them, I said, man, you know what? Why don't you have Bob play the piano? Y'all just get over on the mic, and we just do it live, man. Let's just see what we come up with. So they practiced what notes they wanted, and I kind of told them, you know, maybe they should switch or whatever. But I engineered it from the booth, and they was messing up at first, man. So when they started laughing a little bit about that, that's what made the room more lighter. So for real, when you hear that, Bob was on the piano, and they was on one mic. All of them just got around one mic, and I taped it, and that was it. You know what I mean? But at first, you know, they was kind of like, wow, they was really melancholy. But we told them like the song they did on MC Brains, No One to Cry On, I'm All Alone and all that. We was like, man, why don't y'all, the one that y'all did on MC Brains, that hook was crazy. Why don't y'all take that hook and let's make an interlude out of that, and then let's do a little bit of something else for it. So that's how that came up. You know what I mean? That's how that came out.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
something that they did on MC Brains that Michael Bivins signed. Yeah. So they all got on one mic, and Bob was right next to him on the piano, and I just taped it. You know what I mean? And that was it.
Okay. Another question that came in. Did you use the Madness remix of "I Don't Want to Grow Up" for you? Up for you. For you now. So that's
you know what? You know what? Wow, I think somebody caught me, man. So what happened was we did another back. That was one of our first projects, another back creation, right? So when we did that remix, it kind of, let me see if I can think, kind of was the same. But when they heard it, when Boyz II Men heard it, they was like, hey, man, what is that right there? I'm like, it's just something that I just made for another bad creation, man. They was like, let us try to write something to that, man. I'm like, all right, if y'all come up with something, you know, let's try it. I was just trying to get as many records as I can on the and you know what I'm saying? So it was a remix on ABC, but when they heard it, they wanted to make it a song, and then that was one of the first songs on the album that when we recorded the songs. So I didn't really think that was gonna make it, man, because I was one of the first. That was out the first batch that we did with them. So we did like 20 more songs after that, man. So I'm like, all right, that ain't gonna make it. But it did, though. I was very surprised, man. Because usually when you do an album, man, like the first 5 that you do, it's just they're just getting warmed up, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So that was like more of a warm-up track for them. But it made it, man. And I was very grateful, man, because I was like, wow, man, this must be a really good track for them to, you know what I mean, from the first 5 songs, and it made it out of a 30 or 40 songs.
Wow.
Maybe even more. We did a lot of records, man, for that album, man. I'm telling you, man. A lot.
And you only picked 4 and 1 interlude.
Right. So altogether, what, 6?
No, it was 5.
We did 5. No, I take that back. We did like
vibing.
We did 5 and then that interlude. So that's like 6. So we did vibe.
Trying Times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
trying
and then
times.
50 candles.
Vibing, trying times, 50 candles. That's 4. Oh, okay, you're right. And then the interlude, that's 5.
5, yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the album only had 13 songs, and out of those 13, I think there was one interlude. So
Hey man,
yeah,
don't you miss sometimes, man? It's like I'm gonna tell you, man, that them times was really good when I don't know, it was like 10 or 13 songs on an album. Because really you're only getting paid for 10 songs on an album, man. Because the royalty rate is only based on 10 songs. So when artists right now these days be coming out with 15 and 20 songs on the
yeah, I
album,
never understood why. Yeah, they did a lot of that in the late more in the later 90s. They went from in the late 80s they were doing 8 songs in an album. Then they
yeah,
went to
because
10, and then all of a sudden they started doing 16, 17.
and you're not even getting paid on them, man. I don't even understand like what happened. Because you know what? 9 or 10 songs is still left some wanting more, or like, was they thinking about something else? Where's the other songs at, man? You know what I mean? The nostalgia and I don't know, it just made you think a little more like they couldn't just have just 10 songs, man. They had to be thinking about something else, man. What was it? It just made you think, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
A little more.
yeah.
But
I
just
mean,
20 songs and 15 songs on one album, man, people not even gonna even get to the 15. Like right now, some albums, man, when I see 15, I don't even get to the 15 track, man, anyway, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm only
yeah,
listening to like 10 or 12, man.
yeah. I remember
15 and 20 is just too much, man.
it's too much. And I was talking to Rodney Dockchild because he did the Michael Jackson Invisible, and I said what problem I had with the album was the fact that they
You know what, by the way? You
yeah.
know what? Not to cut you off, but I got about like 6 songs that we didn't. You know what happened, man? One day Rodney went to the Lakers game instead of staying at the studio waiting for Mike to come to the studio. So they called us up and they let us in, right? And I started recording, and then I got like about like 6, man. I got 6 joints that me and Bob did on that for the album, Invisible album.
With Michael on it.
Maybe 3 of them Michael is on there, yeah.
So
He would call from his car, and he'd be like, he talked to the engineer, and he had the engineer put it up to the speaker. So if it was really, really fire, he would come in. If it was okay, he'd be like, tell Tim and Bob to keep on working. They're doing a good job. You know what I mean? Da, da, da. I'm going to turn around and go home and get some sleep. But yeah, I got about like 3 or 4 with his voice on there. Yeah, I do.
is the track finished or was it still in a demo?
No, finished, man. And you know, so crazy back then. It was crazy because he had well, you probably don't because I don't know if you came to Los Angeles a lot, but it was a studio called Marvin's Room. That was his studio. So that was Marvin Gaye's old studio, right?
Okay.
So only one thing, he was scared to go in the booth because he was thinking that ghosts would be in the booth. So he put the mic. So he would set up a mic right there at the booth at the console right there, and then boom stands. He would have mics all over the place. Do you know, man? He'd do like 4. He'd be like if you want to stack his vocals, he'd do like 4 right there, 4 to the on the left side of the room, 5 on the other side of the room, and then 5 on the back. Man, he used to feel all the like that was multi tracks back then, so it wasn't Pro Tools back then. Do you know, man? He used to feel the whole. We had to put another reel on there because the first reel will be all his backgrounds, man.
Wow.
It was crazy, man. How his work ethic. That's why, man, he's one of the best, man, because he really, really worked his butt. That's one thing that you can't say that, Michael, you know, he didn't really come in and do anything. He just did this and left. Nah, man, he worked his butt off, man.
Yeah, but okay, how did you first get to meet him then?
From his manager, man, that ran A&M Records at first. So that was John McClain, yeah.
Okay.
So John McClain came after Juro over at DreamWorks.
Yeah.
So we had to work with John a lot because we already had a label over there before he came over. So when he came over, out of nowhere, now I'm at home just chilling, man, eating fruit, man, just watching it. And then we got a call, man. It was like, hey, man, how would y'all like to come work with Mike, man? This is after Thong Song came out, right? It was like, man, what do y'all think about coming in and working with Mike? So I was like, hey, man, who is this, man? They was like, man, this is the assistant engineer, man. Get y'all stuff ready, man. I'm like, huh? So hold on. He said, hold on for a second. So then John got on the phone, right? So John gets on the phone. He was like, hey, I was instructed from Michael Jackson to call y'all two up. Y'all grab everything y'all want. If y'all don't want to do that, we got everything y'all would ever need at the studio. Y'all got an hour to get here, man. And I was like, y'all got to be kidding me. So I called Bob up, man, and we just jetted up to the studio, man. We was there every day for about like 2-3 weeks, man.
How was it like the first time you met Mike? What was that like?
Mike, man, is when I tell you, man, Mike was Mike was one of them dudes. He was real soft spoken, right? But when it was time to do the track, he would eat your head off, man. It was like he was two different dudes, man.
What do you mean he'll eat your head off?
It was like he'd be like, hey, how you doing? You know, da, 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 da. Track come on, and all of a sudden, man, he like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. And then, man, he sound like his voice would just change like night and day, man. He was like when you first meet him, man, he was all soft and all that. But when that track came on, man, he was like a lion, man. He'll bite your head clean off, man.
But were you intimidated when you first saw him? Was that
not really, because we kind of knew the whole family. We already knew the whole family before we met Mike. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's what he said. He said there was a video of you guys in Encino with one of the Jackson family children.
yeah, with Tito. Yeah,
Okay.
so we already worked at Tito's studio, and we worked with Jackie, and we talked to all of. We knew everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we already knew they all had a certain aura about themselves. So they all kind of acted and sounded the same. You know what I mean? So when we met Mike, it was the same thing, man. So after a while, man, that was Dream. So we got to DreamWorks. So nothing intimidated me back then because I worked on so many artists before then. I was just trying to get a record on there, man. And we almost did, not quite, man. We was right there. And I was like, dang, man. But you know what? I'm glad that the History album, we ended up doing one with Dallas on there. So I got the plaque over there too. I don't know. Here, let me see if I'm not clumsy enough. But can you see that over there?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's Beyonce's first solo album. And then right under that is Michael Jackson. That was I think that album right there, the History album, was I sold a lot. That's like only 12 million right there. I think that sold like about like worldwide like 25 million, man. 25, 30.
Yeah,
that was a big seller, man.
It it doesn't say the it doesn't say the yeah, I think it was about 20 something million. But let me see the tracks you did that Dallas did. I think that he
Don't
did.
worry, I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not. My credits is not on there because
This time around, that's the one with Biggie.
Yeah, then my drums right there, man.
Oh, ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the drums too, I gave him the Dallas. So back then, it wasn't like, how now, man, when you see tracks being made, it's like 8 or 9 producers on there, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that in the 90s, man. It was like the biggest person was the one that got the credit. Everybody else, if you got the credit, cool. If not, you just have to just take one with the team, man, and just move.
Yeah, then the songs when you finished the songs and he didn't make it, did you ever get in touch with the estate, John McClane, to say, hey, I've got this, if you're looking at doing another album, here's some of the songs that we finished on him?
I was too young, man. I wasn't
No, I'm
thinking,
talking
man.
about now, especially now that they're constantly looking to trying. Because some producers like Will I Am says, no, I'm not going to give them this track because Mike would never have wanted it out. But there's some that are looking and say, hey, this is some tracks we did because I think they're looking for that.
You know what? I just never looked into that, man. But you just gave me the idea, man. So I don't know why not. I might reach out to him because I know everybody. I know John McClain is still ahead of his estate.
Yeah.
And he's a real good friend of mine. Matter of fact, man, he the one that played the guitar on Black Cat, him and Jelly Bean, but John did the solo on there. John is, man, when I tell you, man, I can remember some time he used to walk in the studio with me and Bob, and he'd be like, what's that right there, man? We'd be like, oh, this is something we came up with. He was like, hey, man. And so we used to have a whole bunch of guitars lined up, right? He'd be like, hey, man, can I plug one up and play with y'all, man? I'm like, yeah. Man, do you know we used to be, man, like, I don't know, like 2 hours, man, just gigging, man.
Wow.
He's so dope on the guitar. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Nobody knows it, man. John McClain, he's one of the best guitar players I've ever been around, man.
Yeah, but he's elusive. No pictures, no interviews. He just no one knows. If you walk past you wouldn't even know because he doesn't. He's not in the public eye. So he's been
Yeah.
out there for a
And
long
you know
time.
what? He had a stroke too.
Oh.
He had a stroke, man. So when he had a stroke, man, he really went invisible, man. It was hard to get a hold of, man. Like he had a stroke, and I think that he left the industry for a minute, and then he came back. Because only people that trusted, I mean, Mike was the only one that out of everybody, man, he trusted John. So that's why he left John McClain as the head of his
Exactly.
estate. Yeah. But he's a bad. When I tell you, man, hey man, he'll have an act smoking, man. He is so dope, man, on the guitar. You'll be surprised on how good he is, man. Because he'll be at work, man. He don't even say nothing, man. He's at work, man. Like when he used to be at DreamWorks, so we had to, because we was right around the corner from his our office was. So we had to go in there and report to him and talk to him and this and that. All of a sudden, he get in the studio, man, and grab the guitar. We're like, what? How'd you get this good, man? Golly.
Yeah.
He's better than me and Bob, man. He was crazy.
Think come back to the three tracks you did with Mike. Are they ballads? Are they up tempo? What type of tracks are they?
Up tempos, yeah. I did like 6 or 7. So you know what? Believe it or not, on Invincible, man, he had Devontae do a lot.
Huh?
He had Dallas do a lot. Dallas did some. Rodney did more than what's on there, and then Teddy did more too. And then he had me and Bob do a lot. So there's a lot of producers, man, that probably got some probably Devontae, he probably got his own set too. He probably got because the assistant engineers was telling us, man, like they was like, hey man, Devontae was in here, man, and he tried some stuff, but he got tired, man, of Mike wouldn't come in. He'd be like, put the phone up to the ear, to the thing, and be like, oh, I love that, man. You know what? Keep on going. I'm going to turn around. You know what I mean? So I guess Devontae got tired of hearing that, man. You know what I mean? But for me, I was like, if I just get one on here, man, that's all it is. So we did together, me and Bob did about like 7 or 8. And I think most of them was up tempo, and then one of them was a slow song, like a slow mid. But the rest of them was up. You know
but he only recorded his vocals on 3 with you guys.
Yeah, I got his vocals on 3 of them. Though. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, definitely would be great. I think if you do reach out to John and say, look, man, we you remember that time, what we could, get your lawyer to strike a deal with them, and they'll definitely put it out. So especially for they're coming up with the biopic. I think it's coming out next year. When it comes out, they may put a soundtrack on that, and they may look for songs, and that definitely will be something that will get the fans going crazy to buy, some
Yeah.
unreleased Michael Jackson songs.
When I think about it, man, when none of them didn't make it, John was like, "Hey, you know what? Why don't y'all try one with Wanye, man? He loves Wanye voice, man." I remember I got one with Wanye too, and it was crazy, man. But I don't know what happened, man. I don't even know if Mike even heard it, man, because I think he was done with his album by then. But the lyrics, everything is crazy, man. I mean, we was hopping up and down, going crazy on this song, man. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know what
I
don't know
would
what
I
happened,
w-
man.
I would say that they have a Michael Jackson biopic coming out. They would need a soundtrack, if they're not going to re-record some of his hits. But that's an opportunity for them to do a soundtrack with some of these unreleased songs. So it might be worth getting one of your lawyer to talk to have a meeting with John McClane, um, just to see what you guys can do about that. If
Yeah.
Mike's actually singing the full, because I think the issue they had when they released the last album was the fact that they didn't use somebody sounded like Mike, and they put out the album saying it was Mike, and then it came out that actually it wasn't truly Mike on the album, and so there was a lot of issues around that. So now I'm sure they're really careful about making sure that whatever they're putting out, make sure that his name is truly on. He actually did record that. So
You know
yeah,
what? What you saying is crazy because if you go on YouTube, man, they regenerated his voice, man.
yeah,
There's a lot of songs, AI, a lot of the producers or somebody used AI, and it's about 10 of them. You're like, okay, did he really do this, man? Or like,
yeah,
which album did this should have been on or whatever? But it sounds brand new. It's because they're using AI, man. There's
yeah,
a lot of tracks, man, from Mike is on there, man.
yeah. But
I'm like, man,
there's
that
also
couldn't have been him, man.
yeah, but
There's no way.
there's also a guy who imitates his voice almost to the T. And when he sang some songs, you say, "Oh, that's Mike." So even before AI, so I think
Right.
that yeah, but so it might be, as I said, it might be worth getting in touch with John to say, look, we, what can we do about these tracks, and see what they say. I'm sure they'll strike a deal because they will need to put out some new music soon.
Yeah,
But
that's a good idea, man. I'm glad you mentioned that to me, man, because I never even thought about it. I ain't gonna even lie. Because you know what? I got so many tracks from so many people. You know what I mean? And that's just one I just didn't even think of, man. But you
yeah,
gave me the idea, man.
yeah, yeah. I
So if
think
it do make it, I'm gonna have to give you a percentage, man, because you came up with the idea, man. I never even thought about showing talking to John about the records that we did. I never did.
yeah. I
He
mean,
might be like, hey, let me hear what you got, man. Let me see and da da da. Who knows, man? I don't know.
yeah,
That's one thing about the music industry, man. It's you just never know, man. You don't know. You
yeah,
don't know if your song gonna make it. You don't know if you can make it on something later,
yeah.
or you just don't know, man.
Yeah, but the fact that he's passed away, so it means that anything that he's done, everyone. I mean, the Beatles released a song that they started working on
Sure did.
30, 40 years ago, but they didn't have the technology to sort of filter out some of the vocals and stuff until, you know, last year they were
Yeah,
able to
what
get
movie
that.
is that? It was on a movie, man.
No, so
Too.
what happened was that John Lennon recorded a song back a year before he died. They were able to isolate his vocals on one. He recorded two songs. They were able to isolate his vocals on one, but the second one they couldn't isolate his vocals. But then the other three members all sang their parts. They got their
Yeah,
vocals
I know
down, but
exactly what
they
song you're
couldn't get
talking
the
about.
last one out. And so Peter Jackson was doing a documentary. Then he said, "Look, I've got the technology to isolate the vocals from there." And so all of a sudden they came out with their final song. So the fact is that people ate it up because, like, Mike's not going to record another song anymore. So we definitely would love to hear some some new mic, especially an up-tempo version of his tracks that's that never got released. So I'm sure
Tell you,
definitely.
man, this bundle that I got, man, the world needs to hear this, man. I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was gonna do with it, man. But now that you said what you said, hey, man, soon as I hang up with you, I'm calling. I'm calling John up, man. I'm gonna see what
Yeah,
we
say, look, man, remember that time that you got us to come work on stuff and we didn't finish? Hey, we've got now that we've got these three tracks and they're actually the one. Yeah. So how do we? What can we do to make sure we can get them out and do do something? And they'll get Sony to back it up and stuff like that. Because Sony will eat it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, definitely that would because
As soon as we get off, I'm calling. You know what? Still date. What time is it there? Where you at?
Okay, it's like
I like to
11.
mess with you all the time with the time. What time is it?
It's 11:30 at night, so that was why
You
I
know
wanted
it's
to.
crazy.
That's why I wanted to start at 1 o'clock so I could finish early. But
It's 3:30 here, man.
yes,
That really trips me out. That time difference, man. I'm telling you, man.
especially being on the West Coast and stuff.
Yeah.
What's I guess just as we wrap up, what's your relationship with Bob? Are you guys still do you guys call up? How's it going? Happy birthday?
No, nothing.
I thought I saw the
Nothing, man.
two of you on,
I,
We Got Soul. I thought there was yourself and Bob, and I think one or two other people joined in. That was it last year.
man, let me see. The last time I talked to Bob, man, was like maybe I think my mom passed away 2 years ago. So he called me then. And then I had a couple more conversations with him after that. Otherwise than that, though, man, that was it, man. Like we don't. It ain't from me, man, because like when it's happened, man, I called him and told him to go get checked out. So I was like, you know what? I remember his mom had a stroke and had diabetes or something like that. So I told him when I left the message, I was like, hey, Bob, don't be scared to go get checked out, man. You know what I'm saying? So I left him the message. He didn't call me back. So I didn't take it serious, man. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, man, but maybe he heard something. But he need to call me so we can talk about it. And because I haven't said nothing bad about him. Cause you know how it go, man. It's like, somebody will tell you something, then you think that they really said it or whatever. But if you hear from the horse's mouth, it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's one of them things where I don't know, man. He need to really call me so we can just, if something's going on, man, we can just hammer it out, man, because Bob's like my brother, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I always say that, man. Like, we've been through too much, man.
Yeah. Because I would say this too, because when I spoke with Bob, and this was last year, but yeah, uh, he was every time he would always be very complimentary about Tim will do this and Tim will do this and Tim so it was I wouldn't have thought that you guys that's the way he was talking. I wouldn't have thought that you guys weren't working together and I wouldn't have thought that you guys weren't both on the West Coast hanging out and stuff. But I think the way it was framed from him was the fact that you maybe when you did your because I think I saw the headlines when you joined SRS, so maybe
Yeah,
my thought was, oh, you went the LA Reid route to do the executive stuff, so it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna move and we'll just have different ideas about production, so we know let's and we weren't getting as much work as back in the day when the labels were just calling us. So we just decided. So it just felt in that sense. So I'm surprised that you mentioned that you guys haven't spoken for that. I think
you know what's crazy, man? If I mean, you can't see it, but if I took this road right here, this next road to me, if I can take a road and go straight to Bob's house, man, no turns, no nothing. I'll be at Bob's house in 10 minutes, man. That's how close he is to me, man. He's right over the hill. So I don't know, man. You know what I mean? All I can say is this, man. Whatever it is, you know, man, it's just like, man, you know, when you got a sibling, man, when you have kind of like differences or whatever, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're still brothers, you're still sisters. So I look at Bob as the little brother I never had, man. Nothing to me, he can't do nothing, man, to make me be like, I'm not gonna call him. There's no way. Because we've been
Yeah.
through too much. Man, I mean, man, like we done been through so much stuff, man. It's unbelievable, man. We almost died together about like 3 or 4 times, man.
Wow.
I mean, we've been through a lot together, man. So I don't know. If somebody told him that I said something, he need to call me so he can clear it up and get it out the way, man. Because at the end of the day, man, that's my little brother, man, that I never had, man. I love him, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
No, I
and he taught me a lot, and I taught him a lot. So I don't know, man.
yeah.
I think it'll come full circle, man. It's just like it's just a matter of time. But for right now, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I can't really worry about what I can do about something that I can't do nothing about. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
no, yeah, and I think, as I said, and anyone that would have watched the interview with Bob would probably would see that there was general, general affection, and everything he shared was about the journey and what you guys did. But he just says that I think it was just more like, yeah, we just decided to have different ideas and stuff. Um,
Because you know what? It's just like the Neptunes, man. I'm sure they've been through so much,
yeah.
but you never hear about them talking to each other.
Well, they just done this thing now where Pharrell and Chad sued Pharrell because he felt that Chad Pharrell was trying to take full ownership of the Neptune name by himself, and so he just sued Pharrell just 3 months ago. So that's made news.
But you get what I'm saying, though? You don't, but still, you don't hear about Pharrell talking to Chad. Because both of them are my boys, man. You do not hear about them talking. I don't know if they do talk, but you don't
Mhm.
hear about it you don't hear about it in the news. I don't know what's going on with them. But I bet they still got love for each other, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because you
yeah,
know, once you get together with somebody and you make hit records like that, it's a brotherhood that can't be broken, man. It's hard, man.
yeah. But it's not just the
So
records; it's the journey that journey that you made, and
absolutely. It ain't even about the records, man. And me and Bob, when I tell you, man, we made so many records together, man. It's unbelievable, man. But I guess it was just a thing where he wanted to try some stuff on his own. But I didn't think that was gonna mean that I don't want to talk to you anymore.
No, I'm sure. As I said,
Maybe not, man. But at the end of the day, I know his whole family. His whole family is like my family. You know what I mean?
mm,
So there's no bad blood between us. At least I don't think so. There's no bad blood because there ain't no bad blood to be. You know what I mean? I didn't say
yeah,
anything about him. He didn't say anything about me. And I think if he do think that, he can ask me as a man and we can talk about it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because we've been through too much together, man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at him, man. I love him, man.
yeah. Now,
I still love him.
yeah, and that's the key part, and that's the key part. So,
Oh
in
yeah.
time, yeah, in time, um, switching on things separately. Alex asks, did Brandy ever record a demo of "I'm So Into You" that Tamir sang?
Who?
Brandy.
Rodney Jerkins?
No, no, yeah, did Brandy sing I'm so into you? Did she ever record it?
Um, yes, but we didn't show Tamia. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, what do you
We
mean?
showed we kind of scrapped their vocal, so to speak, and then we had Mario do it because we didn't want her to be offended or nothing like that. So she was already working with Mario when we came to California, and when we came, so Mario was the one was. So we called Mario because he used to live with us. So he still was living with us, but we didn't see him for like a week. So when we got to LA, I just hit Mario up to see how he doing. He said, "Hey man, I'm out in LA, man. I'm working with Tamia, man. Y'all want to come over to the studio?" I'm like, "Hey, we just landed, man. All right, let me put some clothes on and come over there." So we just went over there, and then Mario started talking really, really good about us. And the A&Rs didn't know about us back then. That was Ian and Jay that runs Jay-Z stuff. So they got us some more studio time. They found another studio for us to work in. When they heard the track, they liked it, and they was like, "Go over to the studio and work on it." So we ended up showing her Mario's joint, and then she changed a few things, and there we go. It made it, and it did what it did. But we didn't want no. You know what? We didn't want why you got such and such singing it? Why you got, what I mean? We didn't want that, man. We didn't want that confusion, man, because at the end of the day, it's about getting it on. It's about getting a joint on the album at the day, man. You know what I mean? Because you know what? Back in the day, it wasn't that much demoing. Let me hear the demo first, and then I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, it's about that more. Let me hear the demo. You know what I'm saying? Or the label. That's what the labels do. If they like the demo, then they more so want to do it. So it's more like them fishing for a record, man, as opposed to back in the day, man. It wasn't too much demoing, man. It's like you show them the track, and then they be like, "Hey, what you got?" Then they just go right in the booth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Alex is
so it's a lot different these days.
Did Boyz II Men record their own version of "Now That We're Done"? That one from by 112.
Did who?
Boyz II Men. Now That We're Done.
Yeah, Wanye and Sean. No, I take that. Wanye and Sean recorded "Can I Touch You." Wanye recorded "Now That We're Done" first. We did the first song we did was "Trying Times" with Wanye because they wanted, because when we was working on Another Bad Creation, Gerald wanted them sounding a little older, so he sent Wanye down. So when he sent them down, man, he started living with us, right? Because he didn't want to spend that much money on staying at a hotel and stuff like that. So we got really, really close, man. And Trying Times. No, I'll take that back. Trying to Let You Go was the first one. So we did one with just piano. I did that. So me and Wanye did it, and I thought that was gonna really make it. He was like, "Hey man, this need to go on our new album." I'm like, he said, "We recording it right now." I'm like, "Oh man, this is gonna make it." So then what happened is he sent Sean and Nate down. Gerald did, and they did a couple other records for Another Bad Creation. So what happened was, and when we was doing "Can I Touch You," Sean walked in the room. So he jumped on there and did some ad libs, you know what I mean? And he did the pre-chorus. So it just didn't make it on that album. So then Wanye was like, "Why don't we do a Can I Touch You on the guys, man, that y'all got?" We was like, "Man, on 112?" We was like, "All right, meet us in LA." Not my fault, not LA, New York. Meet us in New York, man, and then we'll work on that. So we did Now That We're Done and Can I Touch You.
Oh. What's the difference between the versions that Boyz II Men sang and 112?
Really nothing, man. Wanye got his own way of singing, man. Cause Wanye got, man, he's a wizard in the studio, man. So I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that it was just a little bit different, but not much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that 112 debut album, and I spoke to Mike and Slim. I don't skip that album. If I play it on now, everything gets played. I think one of the best debut albums. One of the best debut albums. Even though it had like 15 songs, I don't skip that album.
You know what? That was just us messing around, man. Because me and Bob didn't all the way fully have our sound. So we was just mixing a whole bunch of different people up, and what we are and then what we already knew, you know what I'm saying, and we was just coming up with the ideas. Like on the remix album, if they're not selling that right, I don't even know if you can get that on Amazon. We did almost the whole remix album. You can check that out. We remixed the 2 album, so
Okay.
you can get the remix album. That's when we start figuring out ourselves a little more. So if you
Okay.
check that out, man, you'll really hear that you're like, this is totally different than what they did on 2 album. That's because we were so young right there. Then we kind of got a little older and kind of understood. We worked with more artists and we kind of understood ourselves a little better. So
Okay.
they was kind of surprised. You know what? Matter of fact, it's like about 1 or 2 more songs that was gonna make it on a 2 album and didn't make it on there. It's on that album.
Wow.
Called I Remember, and then we did the Vibe and remix it. It was on there.
Wow.
So it's called the Remix Collection, man, that you can grab probably on Amazon.
Okay.
You can get it cheap too, man.
No, well,
I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll look for it. Alex X again. Did you know R&B singer Kevin Ford? He recorded a song "I Want You" that was written by you guys. Kevin Ford.
Hey, man, who's that, man? Somebody really know us, right?
So Alex has been a big supporter of the channel from day one. So and he's really so
hey, you know what? If he got a copy of that, I want that, man. That was in that bag that I lost, man. But
it was okay.
yeah, man. But Kevin Ford was one of Jam Lewis' artists. So Terry brought him down and we did that. We did maybe about like 3 or 4 on him. Yeah, that was one of Jam Lewis's first artists that was gonna be off their album, off their label rather. What was the label? Perspective, yeah.
Okay.
So when he didn't make it, that's when they got Sounds of Blackness.
Okay.
And Mint Condition and on and on and on. But
Yeah.
Kevin was before all them, man. Kevin Ford was. That's why I asked that person if they got the song, man, send it to you so you can give it to me.
Yeah. I'll ask him. Don't worry, Alex. You heard that, so Alex, because I know Alex. He gets in touch. Jay Anthony was asking, "What's your favorite part of writing?"
My favorite part of writing is you don't know, like when you're writing something, it's just like when you write something, it's just like, I would think that it's just like birthing a baby, man. Like you don't know what to expect. You just going by what you feel. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know what you're gonna write. You just going by a feeling. You're going by the feeling of the track more. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really know what's coming next, man. You kind of do and you kind of don't. You know what I mean? It's like, it's weird, man. That's why I always say, like, you know what? Do 80% of it and then let God walk in and do the rest, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him walk in the room and do the other 20. Because when you do that, man, he blesses it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He really do. Because you just don't, when you do the writing, you really don't know what the song gonna do. But if you involve God in the situation, man, you know what I mean? And you'll know by if God came in and touched it, because you're like, I don't even remember writing that right there, man.
Yeah.
Like on some of the songs, a lot of the songs that I did, man, I'm like, I wrote that? I don't even remember. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I came up with that? I don't even remember. Like So Into You, the hook. I came up with the hook first, but I don't even remember. It came so quick that when I hear it now, I'm like, I came up with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I hear the pre-chorus, I'm like, I came up with that. I don't remember that, man. That's because I left room, man, for God to come in and bless it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you do that, you know, man, it's just a different feeling that you get when you hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's a different gratification that you get.
The other question.
Let God walk in and do his thing, man.
Most definitely. What was your process for build music? Okay, to start. I mean, do you start at the piano or do you use a drum machine to start when you're creating a new song?
All depends, man. It can start from the piano with the chords, guitar with the chords. I got a beat, and then I try to stick a sample inside that beat. It's all kinds of ways that you come up with songs, man. It all depends on how it hits you, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many different ways.
Okay, I think yeah, so the questions are coming in now, but I'm looking at the next one. Yeah,
Come on, man.
you've mentioned about another question is, what do you do to stay current with the industry trends, especially as a writer, to make sure that your writing is relevant in today's.
You know what, man? I try not to stay. I try not, because you know what? If you think about trends, man, trends is what's going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Ain't that what the definition of a trend is?
Yeah.
So that means that if it's what's going on right now, next week, a week after that, or 2 months after that, it's gonna be out of style. You know what I mean? So I don't too much worry about the trends, man. I just do what I do, man. And and I try to stay current with I will say this. I try to stay current with what beats they using, because that depends on what dance they're doing on TikTok. But right. But the lyrics and all that stuff, man, I don't worry about all that, man. I just do what I do, man.
Yeah. I mean, talking about TikTok and dance, they asked what was it like working with Cisco?
Man, it was a pleasure working with Cisco, man. Cisco is so fun, man. He gets it. And one thing about Cisco, man, but you know what? I will say this, man. All of the artists that I worked on, man, they had really, really good work ethic, man. You know what I'm saying? Work ethic, man. If you got a good, strong work ethic, man, you gonna make it, man. Because Cisco, one of the ones, he walked right in the room and he'd be like, "What's that?" Or if he heard that, if like Thong Song, he heard that track and he already knew he wanted it. So when he went to Baltimore and he came back, when he walked in the room, he was like, "Let me go in the booth real quick." So he didn't even say, "Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on, man?" Da, 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 da. He didn't even say none of that. He was like, "Where the booth at?" You know what I'm saying? So I will say to people out there, man, work ethic goes a long way, man. I'm telling you, man. The harder you work, something's gonna come out of that, man.
Amen to that.
You know what I mean? If you work hard, man, you know what I mean? I know it's an old adage, man. Old people that everybody say, but if you work hard, you can play hard, man. It ain't gotta be work all the time. If you do your work and you just do your thing, then you can relax and kind of enjoy the fruits of the labor, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Okay. The next question was from Alex again. Did you work on the Destiny's Child or their unreleased album, The Dolls? Did they have a name? The when you worked with Beyonce? Because I know you mentioned that you worked with her when she was about 12 and had talents with that. But did the album, was that when they were signed to Daryl Simmons when you worked with them?
yeah, Daryl actually approached us and he was like, "Hey man, I got these girls, man." He was like, and they young, so they like need more up tempos. And I know y'all do up tempos, man. He was like, "Man, can y'all go ahead and give them what they need?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." So they was called the Dolls, man. From I don't know if it was from Daryl or I remember
Yeah, I think
watching one.
Daryl said he gave them the name. Yeah. Because I
Yeah, so they
interviewed Daryl
called the Dolls at
twice.
first.
Yeah.
So we did like about like 5 or 6 at first. So when Daryl and Matthew they got into it, Matthew called us up crying, man. He was like, "Hey man, you know what? I quit my job for these girls, man. Y'all got to help me get them a deal, man." I'm like, "All right." So I went to Dallas. Now I asked Dallas. Dallas was like, "Yeah, they all right." But you know what? Nobody knew that they was gonna blow up like that, man. You know, when Daryl said that, it's true, man. We just didn't know. I mean, we knew they was good and they had a good look, and it could happen, but we just didn't know they was gonna blow up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like their look look to me, their look already told the difference, man. We was like, okay, I was thinking about Diana Ross and the Supremes. Like, you knew of Mary Wells a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't know about all the rest of them. You knew more about Diana Ross. So they made it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them other girls didn't sing on all them records, man. But you knew Diana, Diana Ross, and you knew that she sang on most of them records. So I was thinking more of Diana Ross. So when I asked Dallas, I that's just how I told him. Because when I first asked him, he was like, "Man, the other ones don't sing." I'm like, "So what? Who cares? We'll figure that out later, man." He was like, "Yeah, no, y'all keep looking, man, for artists." That's when we found one, which their name was Forte at first. But that's when we started working more on 112. But nah, he didn't like him, man, at first, man.
Wow.
He did not like him, man.
And there's no
he
way
liked the records that we did, but he didn't have nothing against them. He just was like, it's only one girl out of 4 that sings. And I'm like, nah, man, all of them can sing, man. They just was kind of intimidated a little bit by Beyonce. But if we get them in there, if we get them back, if you sign them, we'll get them back in the booth and we'll get all of them on the tracks, man, singing. He was like, I don't know, man. I don't think so. And he turned it down.
Wow.
You just don't,
because anything could happen, and they were young as well.
Right. It's just that, man, and Dallas didn't have nothing against them, man. It's just like one of them things where you just don't know. You only can guess on what's gonna blow up. You don't really nothing nowhere says, hey, you know what? This artist right here is gonna blow up, man. This artist is gonna sell 5 million. And then somebody gonna go solo, and then they're gonna be one of the biggest artists in the world. It's like, that's one thing you can't do, man. Only God can predict the future like that. We can't do that, man. You can only guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we didn't know Boyz II Men, what? That 2 albums, so what? 25 million worldwide?
Yeah.
We didn't know it was gonna sell that much. You know what I'm saying? Thong Song, what? About like 20 million worldwide, and like,
well. Oh, it looks like I think his video went out. Hopefully I can get him back shortly. Okay, there you
my
are.
fault. Somebody was calling.
No, it's fine.
Did you hear me?
Yes, heard you.
Wait a minute. I lost you. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can
Are you
hear
there?
you. Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, you're there. Can you hear me? So we can see and can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, man, it's doing that again.
No, I can hear you. Hopefully we can.
I cannot hear you, man.
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay, I can. Yeah, I can see and hear you. Unless you want
man,
to...
somebody had to call me and mess everything up. So I can't hear you now.
Yeah, unless you want to come out and come back in.
I'm gonna.
Can you hear me?
Let me close this and try it over
come
again.
Back in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it might be. So hopefully he'll come back in and here and see you. Hopefully he'll be able to maybe just.
There we go.
Okay, you can see. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I gotta send a shout out to a girl named Adrian. I used to be in a group that Dallas found and signed, man, from DC, I think. Their name was Fat, spelled Phat. Man, when I tell you, man, when we did an album on them that was so crazy that didn't make it.
Wow.
For some reason, man, Clive didn't like it, man. I mean, I tell you, man, it's a song that we did, Missing You, man. This joint will make you cry for no reason, man. I'm telling you, man, 75% of me and Bob's records that came out, that we did rather, didn't come out.
Wow. Quick question, Derek Dimitri. They said did the demos that and he worked with you guys. Was it
Yeah, yeah, Derek
okay?
talking about Boo Boo from the Highland
Oh,
Place.
that's pretty okay.
Yeah, his real name is Derek
Okay.
Colbert. That's his real name. But man, when I tell you, man, he was silky. This dude was bad, man. He the one that's doing all the backgrounds for Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
On Dalvin's album, he did like a couple on Dalvin album too. Long Day, that's his voice on the background. Long Day, told you once before that you're not my girl. Oh, not my girl. He's on the backgrounds of that. Let me see what else I could think of. I don't know, man. We made sure we put him on everything, man. If he
Another.
that's because the artist said they want to try the backgrounds, man. But
Okay.
he was so cold, man. I hope he watching, man. What's up, Derek?
I'm sure.
I hope you watching, man. Give me a call so we can get this popping again, man. I love you like a brother, man. I love your voice is incredible. You know what, man? Babyface said at one time, man, he would because Highland Place Mobsters was signed to LaFace. So he was Babyface's favorite singer at one time, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how good he was. So
Yeah, I
if you know a Babyface talking like that, he had to be dope.
Yes.
He was.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
said,
you know what? I'm gonna tell you this after that. So after that group, Dallas signed him to his label Rowdy. We did a whole album on him and never came out.
Oh, what a waste! What a waste!
I'm telling you, man, it's so much stuff that we did that just never came out, man. It's crazy.
Wow. M365 said Bobby V had an unreleased song called "Hot That." Did you guys work on that? Hot That.
We worked on a song called "Hot."
Yeah, for Bobby V.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a second single off the off the second album, but that's when Timberland got involved. I don't know if Timberland was on a second album or third album. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rodney and them got all involved and everything. But yeah, Hot, that was going to be the first.
They said it was on the same level as Tell Me. It was even better than anything on the second album and should have made it.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy,
man. Okay, in fact, yeah, so that Fats, it's pretty hot and tempting. So that was the group.
Yeah, man. The song was bad, man. You know what? It went from the first single, it didn't even get on the album.
Wow.
I think that, if I can recall, man, we were so mad that we was like, no, we're not keeping this, man. It's going to be on the back of an album. It's too good. So we'll just do some more songs. So I think that's what happened back then.
Did Usher record a version of Being Around the World?
Yeah, he sure did. Who said that?
Alex again.
Yeah. Alex, no, man. Oh. I hope he following me, man. Which, by the way, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I am Tim Kelley. Yes, that's me. That's my only page. I just got hacked. Also, I had like, I don't know, 20,000 followers. You know what I mean? Wow. I just got on there and I just got hacked. So, but to go back, Usher did Been Around the World. He also did My Way that we did it on Dalvin. Remember that song?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did that too. But that was gonna be his first single, man. But then LA showed Jermaine, and Jermaine was like, let me go in the studio for free, man. I guarantee. He always used to have competition with us, man. He just was he just was a competitive guy like me. So he went in for free, and then he came out with his own version of My Way. So I guess LA was like, you know what? Jermaine worked too hard on the album. Let me give him the singles, man. So that's how that happened. But man,
okay. So did you guys get on any Usher album?
Let me see. I don't think so, man. That's one. You know what's so crazy, man? When we first came to Atlanta, he was one of the first artists we worked on, and then we kept working on him, 3, 4 albums, but we never got on a song on the album, man. He's one of the artists that we never got on, man. It's really weird, man. Now that you say that, we
Oh.
never got on. We never got on one of Usher's albums, but yet we always worked on. It's weird.
Those demos, who has them now? Does the Face have them? Do you guys have them?
I think Bob got another podcast told me that Bob got some. I don't have any of those, man, but I can find it though.
Okay.
I remember us doing a song called "I Don't Know Why." That's the name of it. What? Man, it was so dope, man. So look, I don't know why. Been around the world, and then My Way. I just remember them three. We did more on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We did like about 7 altogether on them, but I don't have a copy of them, man. Bob got them, I think.
Okay.
On those
Alex,
I
the
think Bob
DAC.
got it on that, matter of fact.
Okay.
He told me that he got it on that. We just need to just transfer it to a CD and then put it in, iTunes.
Alex asks again, when did Destiny Child record Tell Me?
When did they record that? That was like
Yeah.
1990. Let's see. Did we do? Okay, so it was the same time we was working on 112. So that was like 1995 and 96. Because I remember Mr. Bobby, the group that Bobby V was in.
Yeah.
They came in. They came in while we was doing it. So you want me to tell you, man, you know what? I want to tell us, I don't know if I should say this or not, but man, a lot of people don't know this, man. But at the beginning, it was crazy. Is Bobby V's group, Mr.
Yeah.
They're nice looking dudes, you know what I'm saying? So when they came in the studio when we was working on Destiny's Child, how about, man, some of the girls came up to us, they was like, who are those guys right there? I'm like, that's our group we working on, man. And da 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 da. Man, do you know that, man? Bobby almost had Beyonce, man, for his girlfriend. That was almost his girl, man.
Oh goodness! But did Matthew put a stop to it? Or
I think that Bobby was one of the dudes. He had so many girls messing with him.
but I didn't realize.
At the beginning, he left it alone. So I think at first, Beyonce was kind of trying to see who he was, and then she got more like serious about recording. So she wasn't really. So when they would come in and he was trying to talk to her, she was giving them a yes or no answer. So he just went to the next girl, man. What? At first, I thought they was gonna be an idol, man. Didn't work.
Yeah, but as you said, she was really focused about learning the craft and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, man. She was serious about her craft. Hey, her craft was her boyfriend back then, man. She wasn't thinking about nobody, man. She was man to be ready to go, man. We did so many records on them. I think we did like about 6 on them too.
Wow.
7.
When did Carrie Shed record the demo? I'll be right there.
Hold on, who?
Kara Shed.
Oh, when did they record that?
Yeah.
That was 2000. I don't know. You probably have to pick up the album or look at the album.
Okay.
Like it was like in the early 2000s.
Okay.
That we did that. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well, we've covered all the we've covered all the answers, all the questions that have come out and stuff. But
we did. I love talking to you. You know why I love talking to you, man? Because you ask the right questions, man. You know what I'm saying? That the people really want to know, man. I love that, man. I gotta say that.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I go live. It's a lot easier because the interview we did. So it's every day I've got to edit it out. And I know I've got another 3 hour, another 2 weeks of it coming out every part 5, part 10,
Yeah,
part 12. So that's gonna take a
yeah.
while.
Tell you
Kira,
what,
okay, it's gonna Kira.
look,
Thanks.
look. Anytime you want to holler, man, I got so many stories, man. This is gonna have to be probably about a 5-part
Yeah.
interview because, man, we still ain't even touched on my career that what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, but
So
you said that when you get when you're ready to announce it, and then that's it. Yeah, but you're not ready. Yeah, once I always you remember the first time we interviewed, I said to you, whenever you're ready to make that announcement, we come back on as
okay,
we're doing now. So that in itself is not an issue. Um,
you know
but
what?
yeah,
What's today? Friday. Next Friday,
so
man, do the same thing, and I'll have more to talk about. I have announcements and all that, man. That's how
okay.
close I am to netting out a deal.
Yeah,
So,
but then
hey,
again, who knows? You may have a conversation with John McClane, and all of a sudden, that Sony and you guys are signing a deal to say, "Hey, man, we got this, ahead of
you
this
know
new
what?
album."
Your lips to God's ears, man. I hope that work out. I bet you know what? I'm finna look for his number right now. I'm finna call him. I bet you that.
Yeah, but as I said, he's coming out with the biopic next. They need music, so and his up tempo. It's perfect timing. It's perfect timing.
I'm gonna
But
call him up as soon as we hang up. I'm calling, man. I'm telling you, man, because you gave me the idea. You know what? I never thought to do that, man. You gave me the idea. So
well,
we be like,
that's
hey Tim, remember I gave you the idea? Hey man, I want 10%, man.
no. I always want all my guests to win. So that's the most important one. Plain
You
and
know what?
simple.
Hey, before we hang up, you hooked me up with Jackie.
Oh yeah,
How about
Jack.
yeah, Jackie McGee.
Yeah,
She
yeah, yeah.
can you believe, man? She's one of my best friends right now, man. Me and her
Wow.
talk every day. She
Yeah,
calls to check up on me every day, man.
you check. Yeah, Jackie's like a big sister. I love her to death, and yeah. So I'm really glad that yeah, just to see how you're doing and stuff. Because and that's
Yeah,
her heart. She's not gonna be saying, "Okay, I want this, I want this." It's like, man, how are you doing? What's going on?
yeah.
And that's
You know what? She always call me up and be like, "How you doing? Are you okay?" Talk about God a little bit, and then we'd be like, "Okay, let's talk about some music." But she don't even talk about the music until she say, "But how you doing? Are you better? You know what I'm saying? How you feeling today? This and this and this and that." And then all of a sudden we start talking about music. And I sent her a lot of records, but I'm gonna send her some more though.
wow.
Yeah.
I'm
But
really glad for that.
thank you. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, what will happen is because she's planning to come back on when she finishes her photo shoot and stuff, and so I'll give if you're available, I'll ask you if you want to join in on us and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll reach out to you. Just before we finish, Jimmy Morrison was saying "Plain and Simple" by is it Damit
Demeter.
Demeter
Yeah,
was
that's Demeter.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's Dimitri. That's Dietrich's ex, man. Demeter. She is so bad, man.
Wow.
She used to do it. You know what? They had a group called Adoration for Christ, man, in Detroit. And it was her twin sister, and then they had a friend. So we was working on them, but she knew Dietrich too. So she was doing some of our demos too. She's bad, man.
Wow.
But we've been knowing her since Detroit, man. She's man.
Well, okay, so the Michael Jackson biopic comes out April 25th, 20 next year, next April. So there's still time. Yeah, so if they can get the deal, they can, we can get the soundtrack ready for you, and then you would say, look, man, if we can do the soundtrack because we've got. Remember that track that Mike was supposed to do, and you told me to do the one year on it and stuff. So hey, this is yeah. So it's definitely going to be some good stuff.
You
Anyway.
know what? I'm glad we leaving off with that because as soon as we hang up, I'm calling. I'm gonna find John McClane, man. That's like my uncle. You know, man.
Yeah.
Like my uncle, he's like my uncle, man. So I I ain't talked to him in a while, so it'd be good to talk to him and then talk about this too. So I'm glad we leaving off with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yes. But anyway.
I'll tell you what, let's do this next Friday. Who knows, man? I'm telling you, man. I think I might have something to talk about, man.
Let me see,
For
because
real.
we've got a let me see, yeah, we've got a major soccer tournament out here. Let me see the schedules here. Not the group. Just want to see scores and fixtures. Okay, 7th June, Friday, Poland, Netherlands, and France. Oh, that's gonna be a big one. Okay, yes. I mean, we will pick up. Yeah, we'll pick up time. So I'll shoot you some dates and stuff. So
Look, wait, put it this way, man. I'm wide open for you, man. So whenever you want to do it, we can do it.
yeah, no, yeah. So we can do something next week. So yeah, we can do it next week.
Okay.
Jimmy was saying that the other face um is also a great track. My other
Oh,
face did.
oh yeah, you talking about Work It Out that we did on Face album. Man, when I tell you, man, that was
No,
gratifying because he's one of my musical idols, man. So to do a track on him was that was really, really, really that was really awesome, man. Because
yeah.
when we was in Atlanta, I would see him every now and then, but he was mostly on the West Coast because he had LaFace West and then LA had LaFace East. So we
Mm.
never saw Babyface. So when we did Thong Song and Take Care Home and all that, one of his boys was like, "Hey, y'all want to work with Babyface?" We was like, "Of course we want to work on Babyface." He was like, "Hey man, we was talking about y'all last night, man. Y'all come to the studio." So he gave us the address. We went over there, man, and started. I mean, man, same thing, man. Face used to play the guitar, so it'd be nice, man. We wouldn't even record. We just be jamming for like 2 hours, man.
I saw a picture of you and Bob and Face. Yeah, there's a picture of the three of you together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is one on our. I think it's one on our Wikipedia, man. But Face, man, we actually, you know what? I got more records. Matter of fact, more I think about it, I got like 3 or 4 records on him too. It didn't
Wow.
make the album, man, but one of them did. That Work It Out did.
Wow. Anyway, so we'll post it there. It's 20 past midnight. I'll give you an opportunity to call John McClane to seal that
Oh, I'm,
deal.
I'm about to make that happen, man.
Yeah. And so,
I'm about
yeah,
to.
make
We
us
gonna,
Michael Jackson fans happy that you've been able to secure. We're going to be able to hear some proper songs that we've not really heard from Mike in a while. So it'll definitely be something amazing to hear. Yeah. So
I'm
anyway, but
happen.
yeah. But
I'm
all you guys who've been writing and stuff, we want to appreciate it. Alex and everyone has been sending comments and stuff. Appreciate it, and we'll.
yeah, hey Alex, man. Hey, look, if you got a copy of them songs, man, send them to your boy and have your boy send them to me, man.
Yeah, Alex. Alex actually does get a lot of rare and exclusive stuff, so it wouldn't surprise me if he did. But I'll follow up with him.
Absolutely, man, because he was saying some stuff that I even forgot. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, we did do that. Yeah,
Uh,
we did do that. Yeah, we did do that. I'm like, man.
yeah, Timmy
We
said,
got to-
what happened to the duet track with Sean Stockman and Brian McKnight? Did you do something?
I sure did. Did he say that, man?
No, no, this is Jimmy. Jimmy that who says he likes the face track that you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got the song, and I got to ask Sean what he want to do with it, man. You know what I mean? Because I was working on Sean when Brian came to the studio where we was at, and Brian was like, "Hey, man, do you mind if I come do the first verse?" We was like, "No, go ahead." So he did the first verse, and then Sean was like, "It was crazy. It was like a competition thing." So Sean was like, it was crazy. Sean was like, he went in there and did his thing. So then when Sean did his verse, Brian was talking to me while Sean was in the booth, right? Brian was like, hey Tim, let me do my verse again, man. I'm like, why? He was like, hey man, he killing it right now, man. So I was always trying to out time, man. But I got the song though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you still meant to hook up that the us with Sean. So
Sean, yeah. So I'm gonna have to talk to Sean. So now you gave
no,
me
no,
two.
but no. The first is you take care of your business with John McClane and stuff. So that's once that's all settled and stuff, then we can talk. The next time we're on, we can try and you may even send Sean the link to see if he wants to join us live. But that's will be a different thing. So let's sort out the McClane stuff, and we can do ours the other stuff later.
But I'm about to shoot the calls, man. I'm glad you put that on my mind, man.
Yeah.
So we got John first, and then we got Sean next, man. So I'm gonna see
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
up.
but take care of John and the whole Michael situation, and
Absolutely.
yeah. Anyway, guys, want to thank you, and yes, and thanks to Tim, but he'll be back. Not to worry about that.
Hey, thanks for everything, man. Love y'all out there, man. And again, I want to say, everybody, you know what? Go get a checkup, man. You know what I'm saying? If I save one, my mission is to save as many people as I can, man, because you just don't know what's going. Because you know what? You don't know what's going on with you, man. And
Mm,
then with the symptoms in your mind, you be like, okay, this ain't never happened to me. Something must be going on, man.
mm,
Maybe I'm getting older, you know what I mean? No, you got to go get checked out. You know what I'm saying? So,
mm.
get checked out. You can save your life, man. Just from one checkup, man. You know what I'm saying? So if I
Yeah,
save one person or two people, man, I did my job.
mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, I love y'all, man. Follow me at I am Tim Kelley. That is me. At I am Tim Kelley on Instagram. That's me. It's not fake. I know it's a low number. That's because I got hacked. All right, but it's me.
Yeah. Yeah. Devin says I'm doing my yearly checkup next week. Just made appointments 2 hours ago. So
There
we've
we
been
go.
doing this for 2.5 hours. Yeah.
There we go.
Jimmy is he's out in Australia and he says you're his musical hero.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yes. And we've just got some people who've just started to follow you on Instagram. So
Oh,
yeah. I
that's
will.
tell them
Yeah.
thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it, man. All right. Tell them
Yeah.
everybody next week, we're gonna have some announcements, man. Because when I make this call, I want to tell you when I make this call, man, I'm gonna tell you, man. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so thank you guys, and yeah, we're gonna have a special next week as